Hello everybody, this is Tim here and welcome to my review of the new edition of the Secret World of the Ninja book. This came out a couple of years ago and is an update of the book that came out in 2015, so it's been 8 years since the last one of these, so that's been quite a while. It comes with an exclusive Lloyd minifigure, which is really interesting, and without further ado, let's have a look at the book. So opening the book itself, you can see here is where the Lloyd figure is kept. I'll get to that at the end. Now, the book itself is quite similar to the last one. There's a contents page, and then there are pages breaking down each character, Wu, Garmdon, then it goes through each of the ninja, which is quite cool. And then things like weapons and certain vehicles. Everything gets a mention in here, I will say. There are certain things that get more attention than not. Skyler gets a character page as well. And so does Pixel, which is nice to see the core figure. It's interesting, they use the core figures on a lot of the branding for this book, which is a really good idea. That's exactly what those suits should be used for, in my personal opinion, and I think that is really good for that sort of thing. It's definitely written for younger readers, not like the Visual Dictionary, which would have a lot of potentially, you know, the older Ninjago fans. These are very much written for kids. They're very much for people who are just getting into Ninjago or have only seen a couple seasons or something. That sort of thing I think it's targeting. I think it has stills from the show, but they're so low res and pixelated. It looks okay on the camera, but in person they look so kind of laughable, but it is what it is. There's a lot of advertisements for the sets that are currently out, but not as well, because these sets are recent but not out anymore. They are currently retired. It has a lot of semi-recent mentions, and here, you know, it has like some very old figures alongside some of the more recent legacy ones. Hydra Rippers, look at them go. What are you going to do about me, Ninja? He would never say that. And then it calls for the Mare guards. I don't know why it says that, given they call them, you know, Hydra Rippers, but I guess it's a printing error. Lego books have them all the time. And it's just like a very rudimentary look. So Ninjago. This is interesting. It mentions the core shorts, the Virtues of Spinjitzu shorts, which I liked them for what they were worth, but I can't lie, seeing them in this book, I think is the most I've thought about them all year. But, you know, they were fun for what they were. Probably definitely not canon, but they were okay. I didn't hate them. And then a bit on the Crystal King, which is funny, because I think there might be a page on the Overlord earlier on, which is just like, he gets mentioned twice. Yeah, it's interesting, like, it doesn't actually refer to him as the Overlord here, which is random, because it never really hides that he's the Overlord in the show, but then again, who knows what's going on with the development of Crystallized. There's a frame from the Crystallized finale here, which you can clearly see because of this mess. Not getting into that, but Crystallized finale. This is the most I want to see of it at the minute, because Crystallized finale. Anyways, then more Crystallized, a lot of Crystallized in this, which makes sense. It's one of the most recent seasons. Over here, we get some stuff for Dragons Rising, a big advertisement for City Markets, which is fair. It's a beautiful set, and it's what's currently out. And then a bit on Aaron and Sora, which continues on to the next page, which basically says, you know, Aaron and Sora are like part of the team now, which is good. But I kind of wish they were in more of the book. I wish they weren't, like, I wish they were always mentioned as part of the team to really help establish them, not like retcon them as part of it. But I wish they got a page themselves each, because it really helped them feel like, you know, they were part of a ninja team. But it does confirm it, you know, they are part of the team. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like if they got their own pages, but I wonder if these pages were like supposed to be left blank when they wrote most of the book, and then at the start of the year they were told to add these in when they had images of the Dragons Rising sets. I think that's quite likely. And then there's the index, and that's kind of it for the book. So yeah, not too much to say about the book itself. I mean, it's probably great for the target audience of kids who want to know stuff about Ninjago and haven't seen the whole show, because there's so much of it. It's a lot harder to do that nowadays. So, you know, it is good for the target audience. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a fine book. As I said, you know, it's got frames from the show, even though they're low res, and it has enough information for you to get definitely the fundamentals of the past, what, like 15 seasons plus of it also. Yeah, no, not a terrible book, and I like the fact it uses the core suits on the cover, and they're all consistently the same suit. Sometimes they'll have, like, in these sort of things, like 3 of the core suits and then 3 Dragons Rising suits. It's really annoying, but there's a sense of unity to this design, and throughout the book I think it's relatively consistent, not completely. I don't know what's happening here, because that's the Legacy Overlord and the rebooted Lloyd, and those images were never supposed to be put together, but you know, it's fine. As I said, the Overlord has 2 pages here, which is pretty funny to me. But yeah, I'd say the 6 to 9 sort of like age demographic is sort of what you're going for here. Like, not as much as a visual dictionary or a character encyclopedia, but still a fun amount to read for kids. Now, onto the reason why I actually bought the book, and why a lot of you are probably here, which is that very weird exclusive Lloyd figure. This is the first Lego book I've gotten since they went plastic free, and there's a sticker of Lloyd, which I don't want to damage, but I feel like I've not got much choice, unfortunately. I mean, I damaged it a bit, but I think that's relatively the best I was probably going to get that off at. And then it opens up like this. It's quite similar to the older ones, actually. Like, and there he is. There are the pieces inside to build him. So here is Samurai Lloyd, as you can see. It's very similar to the crystallized Samurai X Nia figure. I think that's exactly what they're going for with this torso design. It's very reminiscent of that, but with Lloyd's dragon symbol instead. The torso and leg print are new and exclusive to this figure, and so is this back print here, which I think looks really cool. I really like the design. It looks very samurai-like, very cool. I like this armor piece here. It's not commonly used for Ninjago, but I think its use here is really fitting, and I really like it. I think it really adds to the look of the samurai without using the traditional samurai armor piece. It looks very traditional samurai, I think, which I really like. It looks less like futuristic and very like realistic, and that's what I like about it. It's like a very, very nice samurai design. The same with the wooden sword. I think that really adds to it as well. I really like the aesthetics of this guy. He reuses the Lloyd face had since 2017, which we might be seeing a lot less of now that the Dragons Rising ones have new faces, but I don't know if they'll stick around or just go back to these. I'm not sure. He uses the green helmet piece, which I think we first saw on one of the Sky Pirates. Might have been doubloon, but I'm honestly not sure. That might be why we got on it. We got it here actually, because you know it's wouldn't be a new colour for that piece. And he has the golden mouth guard, which looks really cool. And I think he looks like a really cool figure personally. I really like the design of him. The interesting thing about him though is there has been no reference, no mention in any piece of Ninjago canon media as to the existence of a Samurai Lloyd. It is a complete and fabrication for this book. Not like that's necessarily a problem, but also like, where did it come from is my question. Like, where did they get the idea from? Was it just something the designers were playing around with, like the figure designers, and they thought, yeah, we'll put that in the book? Did they want a figure that was universal and wasn't representing a specific thing from the show for new fans to get it without feeling lost on the context, or just getting something that looked cool and Ninjago-y? Maybe that's what it was. I'm not sure, but it's a very interesting one because it's just not what you would normally like expect to see. But I guess Ninjago books have a way of doing that. The Woo that came, the last one of these books, so can't say a couple together, but the 2015 edition, that wasn't from any piece of canon media either, and neither was the other Woo that came in the visual dictionary in 2019. That was also a new torso and leg print, but it was not from any design that ever appeared in the show. I mean, there's a chance he might rock up in Dragons Rising like this at some point, but I really don't think that will happen, to be honest. I think this will stay a non-canon figure and an enigma to Ninjago fans as a random inclusion that we once had Samurai Lloyd. But, you know, if they did Samurai version of the other ninja, I think that could be really cool. I'd love a Samurai Kai and definitely a Samurai J. That could look really cool. And a Cole. And with Zane could do a lot cool with the robot. I would really like to see other versions of the ninja in a samurai form. Although I would rather we got some canon variants we hadn't had yet before we get them. We've still got loads of Golden Ninja and Future Ninja left to get. But you know what? As figures go, I quite like the look of this one. It's quite nice. Not the choice I would have made, but for what it's worth, yeah, solid figure. So those are my opinions on this release. I think it's a really fun release. I'm really happy that we've got on a exclusive Ninjago figure this year like this. Even if we have no idea where it comes from, we probably never will know what the context is. It's just a nice figure, and I like the look of this figure a lot. It's very cool. It's a nice inclusion to have. And the books, like, you know, it is what it is. But it's fun. I like getting these Lego books. They're always a fun thing to get, and I like having the exclusive figures. There's something that feels quite special about them, even if they don't make much sense like this Lloyd. I mean, if you want to get this book, I'd say it's just an easy pickup. It's not that much money. It's 15 quid. I got it a little bit cheaper than that anyways. So it's cheaper than a lot of Lego books, and it still comes with the exclusive figure. So if you can get it, especially on a discount, like 20-30% off from like Amazon or something, you're not going to go wrong because you'll get a really cool Ninjago figure. So that's my opinions on this book. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.